you find a problem in the market that you want to solve, or you want to bridge a gap, and you're passionate and you believe in it, it doesn't matter what your skills are, because end of the day, what sets an entrepreneur apart from someone who's not an entrepreneur is the fact that they're passionate about what they want to achieve. They have the resilience, having that resilience and that commitment. So what I want to say by this is that if you have the passion and the interest to do it, you'll also pick up the skills and put that
That's
effort
true.
into pulling those skills.
Why glorify the finishing line when you can cherish your halfway mark? Hey everyone, welcome back to The Midwife. I'm Ashna Juneja and I'm in conversation with Tarini Gupta today, who's the co-founder of DalalStreet.ai, which is an AI-based equity funds management platform. Well, I have no clue about this industry, so I'm really keen and excited to learn so much from her. And we will definitely talk about the very small percentage of women that comprise the trading industry as a whole. Let's dive right into this conversation of money, sentiments, and trading as a whole. Hi, how are you?
Awesome. I'm good. How are you, Ashna? Good to finally connect.
Okay. So Tarini, see, all of us, we've at least seen that many businesses that start, many entrepreneurs that start something of their own, it either comes out because they see a gap in the ecosystem or because of their passion. So if my listeners are listening to this podcast right now, if you could briefly share how the DalalStreet.ai come into being and what's the story behind it?
So this is a very unconventional story at many levels.
Okay.
And it might be very surprising to some people, also very out of the ordinary. So I actually have no experience when it comes to technology. And Dalal Street's entire product is based on artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'm not a financial whiz or a geek because I'm literally a recent graduate. I graduated 3 months ago from university. So as you can see, I'm not an expert at either technology or finance or stock markets or trading, but I do have some personal experience since I graduated from school. So that's since I graduated from school was 4.5 years ago, which is when I realized that, this whole concept of stock markets and trading seems really interesting. I want to kind of start doing it. And I do come from a family where my, nana and my dad and everyone has always been into the stock market, whether they're investing or they're trading. So this lingo has been, with me since I've grown up. So I was graduated from 12th grade. I set up my Demat account very confidently. And then I went to these, adults around me. And I was like, okay, now what should I do? And all they could turn around and tell me was that, beta, it's all about experience. So I was like, it's all about experience. And where do you start? How do you actually start? So I went and did all these various online courses, spoke to as many people as I can. But when it came to actually getting down and using your money and trading and understanding which company stocks do I want to buy, or when should I buy, when should I sell, what is the good price to buy and sell, I had no idea. None of the online courses actually teach you that. Only when you're actually at the ground level and you're trading, whether it's from 100 rupees or it's 200 rupees or it's 2000 rupees, it doesn't matter. But only when you start trading do you understand what it takes, and then you start realizing what are the good prices, what's the good pattern, all of that. So I realized that there's this gap in the market because I experienced it. I had this passion to solve it. So when I was about graduating from university, all through my university, I kind of focused a lot of my researches and my studies to do with understanding is this gap only something I'm facing, or is this very prevalent in India? And did a lot of researches, came to the conclusion that only 1.8% of Indians trade in the stock market. That's a really small amount of people. If you look at any other country, there's the proportions are much bigger. And then we realized that 70% of the Demat accounts that are actually created, they're all inactive. So 70% are inactive Demat accounts out of 100 basically. So there's this big gap in the market. Now you try to understand why is this gap happening. If you want to solve a problem, you have to understand why the problem is arising firstly. So why is there a gap in the market? Very basic, simple reasons. Either people don't have the time because they're studying, they're working, they don't have the time to be up to date with daily happenings, daily news. All this does affect stock prices and whether you should buy or sell. Then people don't have the experience to undertake this financial analysis, and they don't have the time, experience or knowledge to basically do it. So it's very basic thing. then I realized that some parts of this analysis is not easily done by a human brain. So I understood कि अच्छा, this means that I have to bring in technology to solve this problem if I'm solving it for the younger gen who don't have the time. I
Yeah,
can't teach them because then I'm kind
so
of
true.
defeating the purpose.
Yeah,
So then I went online and I was looking for someone who was a tech brain because I'm a total business background, and went online, found someone, who's now today my co-founder, who was working already on a very similar concept. So I, in fact, at that point reached out to him and said, Ki, dude, it's damn interesting what you're doing. Can I actually intern with you and get some experience? So
yeah,
we had a lot of back and forth on Google Meets. For him, it was still a concept. He had started working on the core
yeah,
product slightly, but it was still a concept. He was a
yeah,
very tech, product kind of guy. So, and I'm not that. I'm more business and marketing. So we realized that, he has skills that I don't have, and I have skills that he doesn't have. And so
yeah.
we work really well together. So this is another thing that I wanted to actually tell you, that I had no idea who my co-founder was 6 months ago even. We met on
Okay,
AngelList, which is a recruiting website where all the
okay.
startups and budding entrepreneurs kind of put postings to get people to intern with them, or get some experience, and they in the process get more hands to work on their
Mhm.
project. So we met there, and we had a lot of interaction virtually. He's from Bangalore, I'm from Delhi, so we still have not ever met. It's just been virtual. And
Crazy.
he's always on my speed dial, on my WhatsApp he's pinned on top. So he's like
Yeah.
a full part of my life, and I've never met him, but I feel like I know him better than anyone else because of how many hours we work together in a day. So this is another big part of how Dalal Street kind of came about. But coming back down to answer your question, you don't always have to be an expert. You don't have to be an expert at stock markets to be building a product. You might require people within your team to have that knowledge, or you
Yeah.
might not have to be an expert at AI to build an AI product. You have to have the
Mhm.
basic understanding of what it's solving so you can sell it. You have to have the basic reasoning behind why you're creating this product, and what's the point of a team. The point of a team is not for everyone to have the same skill set.
To
It's for
compliment,
everyone to have,
basically.
exactly, to have different skill sets that complement one another. And
Right.
that luckily happened here. I'm not sure whether you call it luck, whether it was my correct judgment, whether whatever it was, but it
Yeah.
really did happen here. And touch wood, honestly, till now it's been several few months now. It's been about 6 months, and it's going well.
That's crazy, man. I mean, I've heard about virtual world, this virtual networking help people, but then you've not met your co-founder. That's another level.
And one more thing, I'll tell you very interesting thing. Okay, so our entire product, Dalal Street, is currently catering to only the India market, because when it comes to stock markets and using AI, every stock exchange, every country has different regulations. Till what level you can bring in AI and things like that. Because of course, end of the day, anything to do with stock markets is a risk.
Right.
So we are totally catering to the India market. One would presume that only Indians in India would want to work on a product like this, but we have about 35 interns that are spread across the globe. So we have graphic designers who are from Nigeria. We have 4 or 5 people from Saudi Arabia who are working with us in product, and then we have a whole load of people from across India, all over India, South India, North India, literally everywhere, who are working with us in different departments. So it's really a virtual team that was founded with a virtual team, and it's going on like that.
And so far, it's been going great. So I think it's a win-win
Yeah.
situation for everyone.
And to be honest with you, there's so many different ideas that kind of come up because we all
In
are from
every
different
country,
cultures. We
also,
all are
not
from,
just exactly culture,
exactly,
the age, everything comes into play. That's crazy, man.
definitely.
Tell me
Yeah.
one thing, Tharini. See, trading is definitely something wherein a lot of sentiments and a lot of money is involved, right? So, how is it that the lalstreet.ai comes into play? How do you guys earn that trust and that reliability of your customers?
So our biggest USP actually, which is why we say we don't actually have any direct competitors, is because when our AI is performing this analysis, to give you in summary, when anyone is doing any sort of stock market trading, there are three main forms of analysis they do to analyze a stock and its performance. So that's financial, fundamental, technical, and sentimental. These are the three ones:
Okay.
technical,
Yeah.
fundamental, and sentimental. So the
Mhm.
USP of Dalal Street is that we also incorporate sentimental analysis. So it goes through hundreds and thousands of news articles, or sentiments that are expressed, whether it's, a social media platform or something like that, to be able to predict what is the sentiment in the economy. And on our platform, we even give you that evidence to show that these are all the articles that we have analyzed with highlighted keywords to show, indicate why, our model is predicting if it's a positive sentiment or if it's a negative sentiment or if it's a neutral sentiment. So we show all that to the person who, the client, the customer who's using us, how we've even come to that conclusion. And this is why AI and, technology is so important here, because if you think about it practically speaking, how can a human do that? How can a human
Yeah.
actually go through hundreds and thousands of pieces of news to analyze what's the sentiment going on average there? So yeah, that's definitely how we kind of bring in the sentimental analysis and the sentiments within an economy.
How much time did
And
you
by,
take to build it? It sounds like it
well,
was such
to,
a,
yeah,
must have been a
I mean, to
difficult
build
job.
it is my co-founder. He can give you the correct answer, but there are hours and hours of the day we kind of spend on the phone, and whatever I've kind of learned, I've learned it for this product. I've learned it to take this product forward when it comes to anything to do with the technology side. And one more funny thing, I must tell you that the first after the first, second, third interaction with Sri Vishnu, he's my co-founder. On this was on totally Google Virtual Meet, and we had not even decided
Yeah.
we were going to be co-founding, nothing like that. I told him very honestly that, I'm totally ready to take this forward with you, but I'm going to need your hand holding. I'm going to need you to hold my hand
Mhm.
through a lot of things which I'm not aware of, because he's older than me. He's already created a startup. He sold the startup, so he's been very successful. He's
Yeah.
very, very qualified at what he does. And the biggest thing here is honesty. I think the reason why
Mhm.
both of us are at this comfort level is because we were honest from day one. I said, "Ki boss, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses.
That
This
is
is
so
what I can
nice.
offer. This is what I will put on the table. And if you're okay with that, if you're willing to help me, if you're willing to give me enough, help me." I told him, "Be my tutor. Tutor me on AI, tutor me on technology, tutor me on
Yeah.
whatever, because it's my product. I want to know everything about it. But at the same
Right.
time, you're going to have to help me." So that
Yeah.
honesty was there from day one, which I really attributed fully to this,
And
whatever
that is so
position we
beautiful
are at
that
right now.
you are ready to get out of that comfort zone of yours and learn and really grasp something that's not really a part of your field at all, which is like a very nice trait, I would say, any person can have if they are thinking of starting something of their own.
Definitely. And it kind of
Yeah.
goes back to the first point you did mention that, if you find a problem in the market that you want to solve, or you want to bridge a gap, and you're passionate and you believe in it, it doesn't matter what your skills are, because end of the day, what sets an entrepreneur apart from, someone who's not an entrepreneur, is the fact that they're passionate about what they want to achieve. They have the resilience कि चलो एक बार हुआ, it didn't work out, try the second time, it didn't work out, third time it worked out. It's having that resilience and that commitment. So I talked about passion, commitment, and resilience. In तीनों में I didn't even say skills once, because that is
Right.
not, like, you have to have something that you will add as value. But the main thing is, if you don't have these three things, then the skills will not even help you here. So I'll give you another few examples. I again don't come from a fully marketing kind of background, because I did a very generic business course with some finance. So when I actually started working on Dalal Street, it required me to really get a very deep understanding of these financial tools like Illustrator and,
Mhm.
graphic designing tools. And I didn't have these before, but I was so passionate that this is a product I can sell. I believe in it. I can market it. I can sell this product. So what if it requires, I'll do a few online courses. And today, I'm creating almost all the graphics with wherever we're posting, whatever we're doing. So what I want to say by this is that if you have the passion and the interest to do it, you'll also pick up the skills and put that
That's
effort into
true.
learning those skills.
Yeah, one thing that I always say and follow by is you need to first dive into the pool, and that's when you learn your style. But at least take that plunge, take that dive once and for all. That's what
Definitely.
I'm like a firm believer of.
Yeah, I agree with you fully.
So, Tarini, another thing that I wanted to ask you was that this is something that you've talked about a lot of times. And to be honest, now when I see any trading platform, the first female face that comes to me is your face because I've known you also personally. So, And I really hope that you can be the face of this trading industry, the female face of this trading industry. And now, why I'm emphasizing the term female again and again is basically because you being a professional in this industry and you being a co-founder of such a startup, which basically deals in trading, right? I'm sure you have witnessed the very fact that there is a very, very small percentage of women who are actually in the trading, both as a practice and as a profession. So, what's your stance on that? And I'm talking about not just India, but as a whole, also, there's a very, very small percentage of women in the trading business. What do you have
So
to say
I
about
think, yeah, I actually did a very interesting research very recently, which kind of indicated that there are several reasons why women could be or are better traders than men. But there's
that?
just this barrier that's simply a psychological barrier. And there's nothing more than a psychological barrier because
What
there are
sort of
various traits.
psychological barrier?
So I think that's the society we live in, where women are not kind of inherently they're not given the money to as risk, like we're not given the money to just try something with. You're given the money if that investment looks like it's kind of secure. It's
Yeah,
stock market is not the securest place to put your money. So
that's right.
as a female, a lot of females might be given money to put in a asset, a tangible asset, for example, or to education of their children or something like that, which will produce
Where
some
the
result.
returns are
Because
basically concrete, or at least close
yeah,
to.
precisely. So that confidence isn't put on the woman to,
Hmm.
take that risk. They're not allowed to take that risk. And I think in specific for the stock market, that's what the kind of block and barrier is. That they don't trust that risk can also be a reward when it comes to a woman. Versus for a man, they're given that kind of space. Ki chalo theek hai, he's failed once, it's fine. Second
Risk
time
ले
he'll get
लो,
some reward.
सीख
Yeah.
लेगा risk
So I think
लेके.
in terms of the stock market, that's the main one I would say.
Yeah. So, what do you think we can, at least in India, do or say something that might instigate that or like become a catalyst for women to really step up and just dip their feet, if not really dive into the pool?
Hmm. So I think one big aspect is encouraging women to educate themselves in finance related fields. So if you look at the studies and researches done, there are very minute number of women that go into purely financial courses around you and me, and a lot of people in these urban cities. We might see a lot of people who are going into finance, but when you look at the bigger picture, it's a very small proportion of women going into finance and educating themselves in a course like finance, financial management, accounts, things like that. So the barrier starts from education, from the time of education, from the time of when you're supposed to choose whether you want to do commerce or humanities or, things like that. So ninth, 10th grade is where it starts. So firstly, kind of highlighting that it's okay, it's acceptable, it's a good thing to do. That's one thing, raising awareness on this fact is one thing. And the second would be that in India and across the globe, actually, whatever you do, you have to prove yourself. And I don't think that's a wrong thing. So
Yeah.
if when you want to change a mindset and a mentality, that doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen
Okay.
because you
Yeah.
raise awareness. You have to raise awareness plus prove that yes, we are able to be as we are able to be as good traders as you or earn as good rewards as you. So in that case, start with small proportions. I always say that don't even start trading with more than 1,000 rupees. Like more than
Yeah.
1,000 rupees for a beginner is way too much in my opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
start with small amounts. Our platform Dalal Street kind of is also catering to. So when anybody asks me that what's your target audience, in my target audience I also always include homemakers, because they are a
Mm-hmm.
big part of the people I'm catering to. I'm making their lives easier so that they don't actually have to undertake all these forms of analysis, spend so much time because they're consumed with, whatever responsibilities they have. But at the same time, they can trade. So, start with a platform like Dilaji, start with a platform. There's so many online resources, learn, educate yourself. Everyone should be confident when they're, engaging themselves in anything. That confidence is what will bring this mindset out. The confidence,
Mm-hmm.
the evidence that okay, women are
Right.
trading and they're making some sort of rewards. These two things are the only things that will change a mindset in a society. Raising awareness adds
Definitely.
to it, but if these two other concepts are not kind of done, then it's very, very hard for the raising awareness bit to also just solely push it through.
That's true. In fact, while you were speaking, I thought that, I mean, if you even follow one of the two approaches, it's going to create like a ripple effect. So if today I am reading up on stocks and trading, so the thing is, my brother, my friends, or my guy friends, or at least I should say, they are like engaged in trading a lot. And I've never once seen a single girl of my age even talk about investments, for that matter. Forget trading, right? So I think even if we start to have like small day-to-day conversations around investments and trading, that in itself is going to like create a ripple effect, and it might just trigger some goal someday that, ooh, like, I think I need to invest. And especially in this age right now where we are, right, in our 20s and 30s, right now is the time to really step up our game and dive into this industry and just try at least, because right now we still can take risks. Later on it all comes down to securing ourselves and being stable. So definitely, I think you're so right that we need to start being more aware. We need to start having these discussions and then just try with small amounts of money and pay our way out. That's really nice.
Absolutely. And that's the only way, even for you and me, people who've never traded before, even for anyone to be confident. You have to try, you have to dive in, whether it's 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees, it doesn't matter. The moment you earn, even so, I remember the first time I invested like a very small amount. I ended up getting after a month or so a 15 rupees ka dividend. And till now, in fact, I have it here only somewhere actually. I have it right here. I got the dividend from Alchem and it's 15 rupees. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's literally 15 rupees. And I have it with me at all times on my desk to remind myself that I invested such a less amount, but I got some reward. And that 15 rupees gave me that confidence to invest more, So it really
Wow.
doesn't require the sums. It doesn't matter how much.
That's so true. I was actually listening to this one interview by Sally Krawcheck, okay, and she's the CEO of I'm forgetting the company. It's again like a stock market sort of firm
Okay.
in
Yeah.
US. And somewhat I'm forgetting the name. Anyway, so she said that, so somebody asked her that what's one career advice that you would like to give women of today and young women especially. She's like, one word, investment. And I was like, whoa, like that just speaks volumes of what she just said. So would you
Yeah,
want to say
definitely.
something, one advice that you think, or give me like three things, key pointers that you think uh, not just women, but young people today should be aware of when they're diving into this field?
Definitely. I think the first one is be willing to kind of take a risk. There's absolutely nothing you achieve in life without taking a risk. Now, this is to do with the stock market. This is to do with life in general. The concept of risk is almost not understood well. People say, "Oh, I'm taking a risk," but what does that risk entail? Are you really taking a risk, or is it just a small, daily thing that you're giving up on? So be willing to take a risk, because without a risk, neither is it possible for you to earn a reward, neither is it possible for you to learn, neither it's possible for you to fail. So it's nothing is possible
Yeah.
without a risk. So definitely be willing and open to take a risk. Secondly, I would say, again, this is something which is not only to do with the stock market, but life in general. Keep learning, be a continuous learner, and learn from everyone. Whether it's the people you're working with, whether it's adults, whether it's the news channels, whether it's the investments and trading gurus, learn from everyone. The more information you get, the better you're able to judge and assess a situation. You're able to judge and assess when a company is maybe doing well, when it's doing not so well. What are the trends going? So definitely the second point would be to be a continuous learner. And the third point is, again, this relates a lot to the stock market and life in general, but it's, try and be significant. So if you are focusing on one stock, either analyze it wholly and solely to understand how it's moving, or try and be kind of significant in your trading and investments, and be significant in life. So, I'll give another example. People keep asking me that, on your social media, on the Dalal Street social media, you're always highlighting that, women should be financially independent.
Yeah,
A lot of the seminars and kind of talks I have is to do with financial independence for women. And
right.
as well as that being a very personally important thing for me, I also think that every brand should have a brand as a human being, as a person, or as a brand, as a company, should have an underlying impact in people's lives. So,
Yeah,
more than just your product or service, you have to have a deeper impact on people's lives. So, for me, it was always about creating financial independence for women in India, making it a possibility, not only preaching about it, not only discussing it, not only it being a
yeah.
conversation starter,
That
but
that is so
how can my
important.
product, yeah, how can I enable them? So, I feel like my product is one step at enabling them, which is why it's so
Yeah.
important for me to bring my product and this passion together. So the three tips I'm going to, kind of repeat it because I've said so much. First one, first one would be to be a continuous learner and learn from everyone. Second one would be, of course, to take risks and never say no. So this is another line which I repeat consistently: never say
Never
no
say
because no
never.
is the full
Yeah.
sentence. And the
Never
third
say
one
no.
is,
Okay, all right.
yeah, never say no because no is the full sentence. And
Okay.
that doesn't only say no to the answer, to the question you're asked, but also a lot to do with how you are as a person and
Mm-hmm.
how receptive you might be, how
Exactly.
willing you are to explore opportunities. So it tells a lot about the person as well. And the third
Right.
one would be to have a significance. Because if you're significant, the success will kind of follow behind you. If you're significant, if you're impacting people's lives, whatever you're doing, yours there will be some sort of success you will gain from that.
That's so true. And when the first point you said take risks, this is something that I don't, as such, believe in taking risks. I do believe, but I'm scared, like you said, right? Everyone is scared of taking
Yeah.
that risk. So I don't think I've reached that point wherein I can say fully with confidence that I'm ready to take the risk. I'm not that person yet.
Mm.
I want to be. But this reminded me of this beautiful set of statements that I heard on some podcast or somewhere. That it says that take risks so that you can fail.
Mm.
Once you fail, you will get comfortable with the failure. And once you get comfortable with the failure, you will again take risks, which will enable you to learn more and more and more. And that's when pave your way towards that success journey. So I think when people say that nahi risk hai or nahi failure hai, I think that's when they're stopping their success right there.
I think you're absolutely right. And another very important part of this was failure. Can you just repeat the last two lines which you said? From
So
failure.
it's so basically take risks so that you can fail. Once you fail, you become comfortable with the failure, and that's when you again start to take risks, and then you start learning and learning and learning.
Precisely. So that brings about a really other interesting point, which is failure is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing in many ways. But what
Yeah.
depicts if it's a bad thing or a good thing is what you do after the failure. Do you sit down and accept that it's a failure, or do you get up and fix the failure? In which you're actually
Right.
learning, you're developing your own self, and you're correcting the failure and moving one step ahead. So I'll give you a really small example. I have this young friend, okay, she's about 4 years younger than me, and during this entire COVID period, before COVID period, she's an excellent baker. So she never
Mhm.
thought of opening a bakery or doing any sort of professional thing with it. But I remember she used to make these awesome cakes. But whatever cake she would add egg to, would the consistency would turn out to be not the way she'd like. It would be too
Oh.
hard, or it would not be as she would like. So she came
Mhm.
to me and she's like, I'm just going to stop using egg. And I was like, that's not the way it should be. Go and find out what is it that the other bakers are doing that you are not doing. Or is there an ingredient that you're not
Mhm.
putting along with the egg? So go and find out why the
Oh.
consistency isn't coming right with the egg. And today she's a pro baker. She's, full-fledged getting like 50, 60 deliveries, orders a
Yeah.
day. So if
And that's
she
such a
hadn't taken
beautiful,
that step,
that's such a beautiful metaphorical, not a metaphorical, that's such a beautiful analogy you drew here with us taking that risk, finding out which ingredient is it that we're missing, and then finally using it. That's
absolutely,
beautiful.
and it's so relatable, it's so
Yeah.
relatable because as the entire mid vibe, from what I can gather, you're interested in understanding the journey of people before they reach their end goal.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a prime example, for example, this girl who is didn't even think that baking could have been her end goal or anywhere near her end goal.
Right.
And these are just a small hurdle that could have totally diminished the baking career of hers if she hadn't kind of stepped up and taken that risk, for example, or
So
gone and done that
true.
extra thing after failing at something.
Yeah, I think failure is the result after the slump. Basically, like you said, right? It depends on what you're doing after the failure. So if you are, so I would suggest we should replace the term failure with slump. So it depends what you do after the slump. If you succumb, if you surrender to that, that's when you have failed, I think. So I think we should
Definitely.
push the failure word further away.
I agree with you. And in fact, you should have some sort of a campaign where you redefine the whole term failure. Because I'm sure so many people that
Let's
you've already
start it
had on,
together.
yeah, because I'm sure everyone you must have spoken to has gone through so many failures to reach whatever, part of their journey. So that doesn't mean they failed at any cost, and if anything, they've learned from it to have got them to your channel, for example.
Right, right. Coming to my last question, which is what is your midwife like? So, wherever you are at this point of your journey,
Hmm.
what is the vibe of that point right now?
So my vibe is I'm super excited. Okay, every day in the morning
Okay.
I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, I have this entire day. I have to do
Mm.
as much, because if I do 50%, I will get 50%. But if I
Right.
don't do the 50%, I will get less than that. So as an
Mm.
entrepreneur, as someone who is solely responsible along with the core founding team to take something forward, uh,
Mm.
it's all on you, how much you do, how much you contribute, how much you take it forward. So I'm definitely excited, but at the time, at many points of the day, I feel quite nervous. I feel, am I taking the right
Yeah.
step? I've dedicated my entire life at this moment to just this product. Am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the
Mm.
right thing? So there's a lot of hesitation, but at the same time, it's this, I believe in this product, and that's all I can say. Like, I believe in this product. I believe that I can have value addition to this product, and that's kind of my vibe right now. I've gained a lot of confidence in myself for the point I am. I'm also very confident that as this product moves forward, as the company moves forward, I will also develop my skills. I'm willing to
Yeah.
learn at every day. Every day, by the way, I'm doing various different courses, whether it's to do with
Wow.
finance, whether it's to do with technology, whether it's to do with stock markets. Every day I'm doing a course. So I'm upskilling myself so that I can always
Wow.
be a part of this product and take it to its success. So to kind of sum it
Brilliant.
up, my mid vibe is I'm excited, I'm learning, and I'm doing. I wake up
That
at
is
4 in the morning and I just
brilliant.
do till I sleep. So that's, I don't know if that kind of answered your question, but
That
I feel like
did. It
that's
was
my
so
vibe.
inspiring and it was so empowering. So, with that, thank you so much, Tarini, for being a part of the midwife.
Thank you so much for that, honestly.
I hope you gathered some key takeaways from this conversation. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a review, keep going, embrace your vibe. Until next time, thank you, take care.